It's Tuesday morning, and I've already collapsed and cried on the floor. I had to cancel my classes because I can't. Sonia Stansel, emotionally and spiritually, raped me. And at this point, I even consider it sexual rape. It wasn't forced physically, but it was coerced. It was coerced because she pretended to be somebody that she wasn't. She pretended to be somebody I could trust. She pretended to be somebody who loved and cared about me. She pretended to be somebody who wanted to be with me. She pretended to be somebody who needed me. And I keep seeing myself at that time. I keep going back to being that person, that teenage adult. And I'm crying for her. Because she didn't know. I wish I could tell her, but I can't. I wish I could tell her to run. Oh, this woman means you no good. And you are giving yourself to the wrong person. Oh. Everything I thought was wrong. Everything I believed was wrong. Everything that I thought I saw was false. And I don't even know what to do with that. All of my foundations are broken. Again, how many times can this happen? How many times can my heart break? Oh my God. And I just cannot stop crying. I am so weak. I woke up and I just laid in bed. And I tried to distract myself with some social media scrolling, and then I was like, okay, it's time to get up, go to the bathroom, something. I literally took 2 steps and just collapsed and cried. And I've been crying since yesterday. I've actually been crying since Sunday, but it's changed now because yesterday is when I realized that this was a rape. And we're always taught about rape being physical violence of the body. Nobody talks about the rape of the heart and the rape of the soul from somebody who used you and lied to you. And all of it together is so much. All of it together. She raped me because I offered her my body. An offering I never given to anyone else. An offering I was saving for the person who would love me. And she took it knowing she wasn't that person. She took it not caring about its sacredness. Even though she was part of the people, the community, the church that taught me about the sacredness of sex. And I don't feel dirty. I feel used. When I say I don't feel dirty, I don't feel dirty like I don't know, maybe it's just not the right term, but I feel used. And manipulated, but just these are things I've realized, but now it's just to a whole different degree, and I don't even have the words fully. Excuse me. It's not that I don't feel dirty. It's that I do feel like trash. Unvalued, unloved. I feel like I did as a teen, growing up gay and alone and struggling. And right now, I feel alone and struggling. This woman did these things to me. And nobody cares. It's the, it'll be okay, or my absolute least favorite. God will take care of her. And I hate that. Not for me specifically, but I hate that in general. Because it's what makes Christians complacent. It's what allows this kind of thing to happen. And I wouldn't be surprised if even the people who knew that was their logic, God will take care of her, while still allowing her to do this to me. And if she's done it to me, she's done it to somebody else. She's likely still doing it to somebody else. And nobody's going to stop her. She's a fucking rapist. And she's a pedophile. And she's a predator. If I didn't have my own work from God to do right now, I'd show up at her church my damn self. I'm doing my part in telling my story, but it feels like it's not enough. It still feels like it's not enough. It still feels like I have to go do something physically because nobody else is going to say anything to her. Nobody else is going to call her out. Nobody else is going to even make sure that the people who are around her now are safe because they're going to wait for God to take care of it. Well, let God use you and you fucking take care of it. I'm so tired of all of the relationships ending up with the revelation of brokenness and lies. Oh, friends who have left out of the blue, lovers who never loved me, not fully. I just I don't know what else I can do. I'm a person of action. I believe that doing is more powerful than anything you can ever say. And the reason I believe that is because I've been lied to so much about how people feel about me just for something like this to be the actual truth. And I'm shattered again. And I guess my takeaway is to realize that there is no end to being shattered. There is no end to being broken. As long as humans exist, we're just going to hurt each other. At least for the foreseeable future until we evolve more. Until we evolve more, and that evolution will take centuries, millennia. I've always kind of thought that we're just in our, like, as a species, we're akin to a 2-year-old. All emotion, that's how we react to things. We do things in emotion. Some of us more than others, and some of us less than others. I think I'm a person who reacts emotionally less than others.
I tend to respond more mentally. And I think in doing that, sometimes I can see more than some people. But also, it means that sometimes I see less. Because I had presumed that people thought about their feelings and processed them before acting. And I've learned through experience and observation that people react and how they feel in the moment. And then after the deed is done, then maybe they go back and reflect. I don't know why I'm talking about this. It just came up, so I'm tired. I'm tired. Another time when I had thought about killing myself, I don't know if this was before or after the suicidal gesture attempt, but there was another time where it might have been afterwards actually. I don't know, either way. I remember I was getting my car repaired. I had a 97 Taurus at the time. And I remember I had texted my sister, and I was like, hey, if I got the car painted, what color do you think I should paint it? I was like, I think I was going to paint it black. She was like, no, keep it the same color. And the reason I had asked her that is because I had planned on killing myself and letting her have the car. So I was going to paint it whatever color she wanted. She didn't know that. I didn't tell her. I eventually, of course, didn't because I'm still here. But it was at that same moment when I was sitting, waiting for my car and texting my sister, just feeling darkness all around me or all within me. But even in that darkness, there was a pinhole of light. There was a pinhole of light. And that was God keeping me alive. So even right now, in this pain, in this sadness, in this mourning, I know that God is still keeping me. Because God has been the only person that has always been there, that has kept me. Oh, I know God will keep me through this. I know I'll get on the other side of this because I've done it so many times. And because I asked God for a sign to even begin this journey, to go public. And I got the sign. I got it clear as day. So I don't regret this. I know it's part of my growth. I know It is part of how I will eventually heal. But right now, it hurts so bad. I loved her and she raped me because she took everything of importance, everything that I cherished about myself. She took it. And then she threw me away. She threw me away. Oh, oh my God. People's actions tell you how they feel about you. In 2018, when I reached out to her, or when we had a conversation, it's not even necessarily that I reached out to her. We were still on speaking terms then. And I think one of our church aunts had passed, and that's why we were communicating. Because we'd been at, the church had been together for the funeral. And she had a chance then. She had a chance then to talk to me, and she didn't. The last thing she said was, "We will." Or one of the last things. A person who cared about me would have talked to me. Would have talked to me just because I wanted to have the conversation. Needed to have the conversation. A person who loved me would have had that conversation. A person who cared about me would have held themselves accountable and said, "I'm sorry." And a person who cared about me would not lie and say that this never happened. Those are the actions of a coward. Those are the actions of a liar. Those are the actions of a predator. Those are the actions of a rapist. And as I've been processing this, I realize I've been so stuck in my feelings of loving her that I never saw the facts. And that's what I'm seeing now, is all the facts. And what bothers me is that all the things that I thought I saw spiritually, what was that? Did I just make all of that up in my head? How? And I guess it's just because it's what I wanted. But that's the other part that is painful, is because I believe in the things that I see. I believe in the things that I see. Or at least that I think I see. And maybe that's the thing. I think I see things. I don't know how to come to terms with what I saw and what happened, or what I saw versus what was real. The fantasy and feelings versus the reality of facts it's hard. The only thing I can lean on now is, excuse me again, if she ever, even for a moment, cared about me and loved me the way that she said that she did, the way that she made me feel like she did, then she would take responsibility. She would take responsibility for the impact that she's had on me. That's what somebody who cares would do. Because it's understandable that you're ashamed of what you did. You feel guilty about what you did, but I don't know that she does. I don't think she feels guilty in terms of having hurt me. She just might feel guilty because she was like, oh, I shouldn't have done that. But not guilty in terms of, I caused this person such devastating harm, and I want them to know that I'm sorry. I won't get that from her. And I think that's what's the hardest part, is because the person I loved would give me that. So the person I loved never existed. I don't know how to come to terms with this new reality. If it didn't have the spiritual aspect, it'd be easier. Just like if it didn't have the emotional aspect, it'd be easier. I wish this was just about the body. But it's so much deeper. And I'm journeying alone. I don't know if anyone is truly bearing witness to these videos, to this journey, because right now I'm so alone. This has so many layers. There are so many parts of me at different points in time who are all broken and grieving. The child who grew up with this woman as a role model. The teen who became her friend. The young adult who became her lover. The virgin who was violated. All of these exist in me right now. Oh, plus the present person that I am. And there's just so much more to cry out. Every time I think I'm done, I'm not. So I know I'm done for the moment, and I know I will cry more today. I might cry as soon as I stop this video. I know I'll get through this because I trust God to take me through this. But I don't know who I'll be at the end. if there is an end, I'll still be someone great because I believe in my greatness and I believe in the greatness of the work I've been given to do. But I guess I don't need to be concerned with what that looks like. Stop trying to see and just be. Because maybe if I just be, I'll see reality and not my fantasy. Thank you for bearing witness.